Hello investors and welcome back to Just Randy Stocks. During this video I want to talk about Proterra. We haven't covered it really in about 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago I did a video and I shared with you that I reached out to the investor relations team. They did respond this last weekend. Matter of fact, Aaron responded on a Saturday, which I thought was pretty commendable. So no responses to the direct questions, but it looks like he's going to work with the management team to see if we can do an interview with the CEO or the management team in general. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated as that progresses. But most importantly, I want to talk about this price action. And a lot of you, after about 3 weeks ago when I did that post on the community tab to talk about how I felt about the price action, you knew that I was saying 1250. Now this was just my opinion, and everybody can hold, buy, sell, do whatever you want, but I thought 1250 was high, and leading up to the debt ceiling and everything that was coming in December with the lockup, I believe that we were going to start seeing a downtrend in the stock price. So not only everything that we had to get past in December, the Q3 earnings call setting us up for Q4, I believe Jack was pretty transparent about the logistics issues, and we weren't looking at a great Q4. So I thought there was going to be some opportunity to add to your position. Nobody should be worried. It's still early in the company, I believe. And I was also a little disappointed about the long lead times when they get an order and these orders start rolling in, that it was still going to take 14 months to build a bus from start to finish. So any revenue wouldn't be collected for orders until a year later after they were received. So as they start receiving orders next year, 2023 is going to be a big year for this company. So, the cycle time just after the company's been around for so many years, I'm just really curious to understand how they can decrease that overall cycle time. Because right now, majority of what the business is making is coming out of the build of the buses. Now, that could transfer over, and I'm going to show you some of those details in the charts and how they're trending right now. But the buses are a massive portion of the company's revenue right now. All right, the first thing that I wanted to look at was the lockup restrictions in the 180-day period. I believe it's going to occur anywhere from December 11th to December 15th. And if you have an exact date, feel free to leave that in the comments below. But what I have noticed with these lockups is you start to see a downtrend in the price leading up to the lockup, and then sometimes you see a drop and sometimes it's just flat on that last day, and then it recovers immediately the day following. So you could see that happen either after the 11th or after the 15th, just depending on what the exact date is. But I would say, we'll talk about the charts at the end, but anything under $9, I'm not really concerned if you're a long-term investor. Now, if you were really trying to get to the absolute bottom dollar, then just use a cost average approach and just set some thresholds from 875 to 825 to 775, and however far you think it's going to go. But that is how you could cost average into a position. I would say do not spend all of your allocated spend. We still have to get through Q4, and that could cause the share price to also go down. Jack has warned us during the Q3 call that there could be further supply chain issues, or delivery of buses could be off. They could be ramping up that second shift, and it could be a disappointing Q4, but they could have an amazing Q1 2022. So I see this company getting back on track. It's just a period of time where if you're long in Proterra, you have an opportunity to cost average down or start a position. And I believe either way, you're going to make money off this play. So Lisa is at this STN Expo, and the STN is the school transportation news. A lot of people getting together. I've noticed that everyone pretty much knows everybody in this space. And one thing that I wanted you to do is just pay attention to the volume. If you want to know the valuation of a company, you can compare it to its peers. And I would just say, FinViz is a great tool to look at the sector and industry, just to say, okay, are EVs typically up or down, and which ones are and why? And you can see that, some of these can be grouped together and some of them are. Not everything went green today. You could see that Proterra went green and then it closed in the red. So there's a number of things that happen out here. And then trading volume wise, I'm always curious in comparison with its average, how it's trading. So I like to take a look at that just stay familiar, because on a high trading day, maybe there's going to be higher or lower price action. So if you're looking for an opportunity, it may happen on a higher volume trading day. Now, in the investor presentation on this appendix page, I wanted to share this with you. This is something that, maybe you think is cool, maybe you don't, but there is this resource page. And down here at the bottom, it's got Federal Transit Administration 2019 Annual Database Revenue Vehicle Inventory. So if you wanted to go to Vehicle Inventory Database and pull up, the reason that I'm showing you this is because Proterra claimed that it had about 50 plus or 51% of the market for buses, which led a lot of investors to believe, hey, they're revenue leaders. If you wanted to go through here and check and see if that thesis still stands, because we're not going to get, or you just want to check their work, you could do it. This stuff, this is their reference. This is where you can find it. I haven't done it. I did filter it a little bit. You can see I got some buses in here, filtered by Proterra, but there's going to be some other things. There's going to be blanks and all that other stuff. So if somebody has enough time on their hands to check out 2020 versus 2019, it might be a cool little exercise to do. But I always try and include something on here for all of you that tune into each one of these. Now, operating metrics, because I did mention that buses were a huge portion of this company's revenue. And I just wanted to make sure you see that there's clearly 3 lines of operating metrics. So you can find these in their Q3 quarterly letter if you have not seen these. But the big thing that I wanted to show you is when they're reporting, they have 2 lines and they combine power and energy together, and transit is on a line itself. And this is why I'm saying 2021, this would be 3 months and then 9 months, that there's a huge difference in these 2 lines. So if you were to even separate power and energy out, that it just pales in comparison with transit. And that's why this 14-month cycle that it takes to get the buses done is discouraging for me. I just don't know how we decrease that. And that's definitely one of the questions that I want to understand is, after developing so many buses, what is the business doing? And maybe the company is working on a breakthrough to really reduce that cycle time. I just can't imagine. And just listening to the Q3 earnings call, Jack made it sound like it was pretty normal to not get a bus out until 14 months. So I'm hoping to be absolutely shocked. But if they're using some of the cash on hand, they need to do it quick to build a facility. If you're looking at Lion Electric, I've covered this in my comparison with Proterra and Lion Electric. If you're going to build one of these first-class facilities to be able to, produce things, you should have done it by now, or you should be breaking ground, because it takes time to build these. This isn't China. We don't do things in 30 days over here in America. So next, we talked about volume. So be sure to know what your volume is, and you can see if the average trading volume is 2.2 million per day, you can see we've had some days that we've really been trading above that, and there's been some slower days. So what I would say is, be sure to correlate the price action with the higher trading days. What's happening when we get to those higher thresholds? When we start pushing, 1120 as a day high, or 1140 or 1150, we start seeing some selling pressure, and then we see some buying pressure down here when we start to get under $9 or in the low 9s. So I just wanted to make sure I lead into this last chart, because I think it's all important to understand. We've got a huge green candlestick, but every time we've seen one of those huge buy green candlesticks, is typically always followed with a red. So when we look at the charts, we've got an RSI indicator. We've got a 30, a 70, and then down we've got a 50 in the middle. So the 70, you can see, now of course you can make this look however you want to look. You could change for 5 minute, 30 minute, but I like to take a look at the charts when they make sense with the action, the price action that actually happened. And typically what you're seeing is, when it does dip below the 30, there's all these systems to buy and there's all these systems to sell. And I'm telling you that down here, it looks like it's been respecting when it falls below this 30. It has been uptrending afterwards. It's been really respecting that, especially it pretty fiercely goes below this RSI indicator. It doesn't just tap it like right here. It barely went down, but it still respected it. It came up slightly, but this was on a pretty significant downtrend for a while. And I think we continue to see a downtrend in this week until we get past December 15th. I wouldn't say we're all clear, but if you do find an opportunity to add to your position under the $9 range, I would pay attention to the charts that day. Now, do I expect something to go crazy like down to 7, 6? In the past, I've said I don't see that happening. And you know what happens? It freaking happens, like with SoFi or Alibaba. So I would not put it. Actually, I should just say it so it happens, right? Because everybody wants a value buy. This is going to recover. And I want everybody on the channel, obviously, to make money. So that's my thoughts as far as price action. I'm sorry if it's not absolutely clear, but I do want you to respect the charts because these are the charts that everybody universally is looking at. I hope that helps to answer all the questions about price action. That's all I got. See you guys in the next video.